Hi, so today in this lecture, I'm going to tell you the importance of counseling right from the childhood time. What is the role of parents in the career guidance of their children? So, once they'll start paying attention to their child hobbies interest, and if the child is active and proactive enough, if he pays attention to his interest or hobbies right from the childhood time, he'll be able to analyze and take the right subject in his teenage years that will lead him to a career of his choice. Now if child's life has a meaningful trend, at an early age, he'll be able to steer his life to a better route, better path. If they, the parents, if they have more patience with their children, instead of punishment, they can give more guidance to their child. They can steer the child's life to a more prosperous future that way, because if they'll use guidance instead of punishment, the child will have more self-esteem, respect, encouragement, and self-confidence to choose the right career for themselves. If they can steer clear from forcing their ambitions on children, they would choose a more fulfilling career for themselves. Because we might have seen so many times where there are instances where the parent wanted to become a teacher or an astronaut. They force their ambitions on their child. Maybe he wants to be something else. Before that stage, they can guide them in their they haven't reached that stage of choosing their career, but then they can guide them in their personal development. That's very, very important, by making sure they are in good company, keeping them informed about the sexual orientations, letting them know about the toxic, harmful substances to stay away from, so that they are reaching the adolescent stage better prepared and ready to take advantage of their independent life. Because at that time they are dependent, and if they can better use that time for the personal development, they'll be able to nurture and mold them into a well-rounded individual who will be ready to take the advantage of the job market that they're soon going to enter. Do not try to change their mind too much, parents. If they have too much of control over their say, then they'll not be able to have their choices. So let them know they have choices to practice. They are free to have choices. That will inculcate independence and cooperation. Give children least amount of help. That way they will develop independent. The children, if taught right from the childhood to handle their mistakes, they'll have more self-esteem and accept more challenges without much fear. For instance, if they spill milk, they should be taught to clean it after, rather than just panicking about the mistake or just fearing doing any mistake rather. So they should be solution oriented, and they should accept that mistakes are the part of life. For instance, rewarding and encouraging on good behavior can also help the child to have a healthy self-esteem. Prompting and repeating for the conditioning to take place is also very important. If you'll prompt the child again and again to develop good habits, if in case they forget. For example, Shreya, Shreya, do you remember closing the door once you come in, enter the room? So any good habit can be molded and inculcated in them by repeating and prompting them. Active listening, for instance, when children are talking, giving them full attention without interruption, then responding, can also help them. Handling and recognizing stress from this age itself can help the child become more resilient and quick to bounce back in future. There are various signs you can identify if the child is going through stress, maybe sucking thumbs, or self harm is like in the more serious stages, but you can identify it, and at that stage you can talk to them, you can counsel them, and maybe you can channelize their energies, not by rebuking them or insulting them, by maybe telling them the repercussions of it, or maybe telling them something that convinces them to not repeat that bad habit. So this is very important if you opt for the right channels to mold their behavior. These behavior modeling and approaches can be opted for the personal development, which can further help them in their career life ahead. So parents play a very very important role. If they are molded the right way in the future life, they'll be able to opt a better career, prosperous career for themselves. So that's it for today. Thank you.